When is the best time to train my dog? Is it best to train it as a puppy? Hey, I've heard people tell me that it's best to do it when the dog is over a year old. Nah, that's nonsense. Let's do it when the dog is 4 months old. Let's wait until he's not a puppy anymore and let's do it then. Oh, but wait a second, my dog is a puppy all the way until he's 2. Wait a second, but my neighbor said it's a puppy until he's a year. Listen, the best time to train your dog is as soon as possible, right? Dogs go through these crucial developmental stages, right? They go through these stages pretty much from birth to about a year, maybe a year and a half, depending on the breed and the size. The bigger the breed, the slower they are to mature, so they're in these developmental stages a little longer, right? The smaller the breed, like terriers, they go through these developmental stages much quicker. Let's face it, again, these dogs haven't evolved enough from being this wild dog that has to survive out there, so the smaller the breed, the more they have to mature quicker. Just like, if I can use this analogy the same way like deers, if you've ever seen a deer being born, they're pretty much born running, right? They're a little wobbly maybe for the first hour, but then they're off and running, because let's face it, a deer in the wild can't afford to be sedentary because they have so many natural predators, whereas a wild dog or whereas a lion or whatever, they can afford to develop at a slower pace because they don't have as many natural predators. But whatever, I can go on forever. So the most effective time to start is puppy preschool. So puppy preschool, there's a very specific type of training that has to be done there from about 2 months of age all the way to 4 months of age, right? Dog is still at his fright, one of his last fright stages at that point, where it's very sensitive. They just, more than anything, they seek the safety and security of their pack. But it's very important that a puppy at that stage, number one, has a reassurance that there is a pack for it, and they are a member of this pack. And secondly, that there's an established pecking order right off the bat, that the dog recognizes there's an alpha, and there's a pecking order all the way down to him, which ideally your dog should be the more submissive member of your pack, taking all humans into consideration, okay? Because remember, to the dog, we're just strange two-legged dogs. So you want to get puppy preschool done at your house from anywhere between 2 months to about 3.5 months of age, because at 4 months of age, your dog is already entering one of its exploratory stages. No more fright stages, no more sensitive stages. Now you're going into exploratory stages where the dog is kind of sharpening his teeth at night and coming up with this evil plan to become not only part of a pack, but now the more dominant figure of the pack. So it's a different approach at this point. At 4 months of age, your dog is already ready to get going to a regular dog training plan, which consists of should consist of going to a boarding facility or a camp facility, just so that the training can be done more efficiently. It doesn't have to be done that way, but it's just done more efficiently, quicker that way. So should go to a boarding facility to have exposure to other dogs, to get trained, get its anywhere between 5 to 10 sessions per day. And then once the dog is complete with its checklist of things that it has, of commands that it has to cover under whatever plan was chosen, whether it be basic, intermediate, or advanced, then the dog is ready to come home. At that point, the training gets transferred over to the client's house. So sometimes with puppies, if we start the boot camp boarding training at 4 months, while the dog is ready to start that training, it's still not quite ready to do the advanced portion. So for those clients who may want advanced training, the training may have to be split, meaning the basic puppy preschool first, basic portion at camp at 4 months of age, and then somewhere around 7 months of age, the advanced portion of the training. The bigger goal here is you want to get all training done within a year of age. Once a dog reaches a year of age roughly, right, or sexual maturity, means it's already navigated through his developmental stages, wherever your dog is at that point, that's where he's at. If your dog thinks, I can get away with doing X, Y, and Z, well, then you're going to have a dog for the rest of its life that is going to think that it could challenge you at times and get away with X, Y, and Z whenever you are busy with work or not paying attention to it, right? Whereas if you've done all the training, even if it's sometimes a little bumpy within these developmental stages, right? And you've done a good job at making sure that your dog has been trained throughout those stages all the way to sexual maturity. Once your dog reaches that point, all that's left is the positivity from the training, right? There's no need for the dog to want to challenge you at that point. All that has been taken care of already. And so all that's left is this trained dog from that point on. And so again, 2 months of age to about 3.5 months of age, puppy preschool. Basics, somewhere between 4 months and 5 months of age. This is, again, in our ideal world, right? And then somewhere at 7 months of age, advanced. So if you got your dog, if your dog is already 7 months or 8 months of age, then you gotta forget about puppy preschool. You gotta do the basics, and if you want advanced or intermediate, all enrolled all together. If your dog is 1.5 years, it's not too late. But now, you know, we just the training might need to go a little longer, and it just becomes a little more difficult. And the outcome is not going to be as good as if you did it with a dog in its developmental stages. It might be a little more of a challenge. I've trained dogs as old as 5 years of age and 6, and they've responded great. But the best situation is where you can start early and get everything done before sexual maturity, which is typically about a year, 1.5 years.